Well, that was just about as perfect of a night as it gets if you're an Ottawa Senators fan. Welcome to the Postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Levitan and The Martian. The Postcast always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub, the GCP, where the vibes are free. All shuttle tickets are available for the rest of the month and into January. Go to GlebeCentralPub.com and head to the pub for a good time and a long time. 779 Bank Street. Let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. Ottawa wins 4-0. There were milestones. There was elite goaltending. Brady Tkachuk continues to score. And Sidney Crosby did not pass Mario Lemieux for the most points in Penguins history and 7th all time. So they stay out of the highlight reel on the opposition front. Martian, give that a 10 out of 10, no notes.
Yeah, that's a 10 out of 10, no notes, Ross. And you could wrap that baby up. You could take that game, get your wrapping paper out, and you could give that baby to me for Christmas, and I would be a very, very happy little boy. I mean, you didn't even mention the Linus Ullmark shutout. That's the reason Sidney Crosby wasn't able to get those points. He had a great game tonight, too. The boys were buzzing. Man, yeah, that was a perfect game from the Sens.
And I wish that we had this wide angle of the show for the daily Locked On Senators, because I would have pointed out we made a change in the jersey case. I thought, well, I wore this jersey to the game. Brady Tkachuk scores the overtime winner. I realized that was an Erik Karlsson heritage jersey in there. They're playing against EK65 tonight. Can't have that. Put it in. The captain comes out and scores a couple minutes into the game, first power play, and then he bookends it with the final goal of the game to make it 4-0. So just an incredible performance. That was actually Brady Tkachuk's first goal at the CTC since the playoffs, Marshy. Like, that's wild. You look at it that way. And he had one goal in his first 10 games, and then he scored 2 goals in a row, the OT winner, the opening goal here. And now all of a sudden he's rolling with 3 goals in his last 2 games.
Yeah, the captain's hot right now. You can tell he's kind of starting to feel himself a little bit now, coming back from that injury. He's about 10 games into that. And he's getting it done. He's skating extremely well. He's getting the goals. He's getting the points. And he's just looking like himself again. So that's always a good sign. With him, Ullmark and Timmy and Sanderson are all going at the same time. This team is always a force to be reckoned with. So it's nice that I think timing-wise, it's kind of perfect for them to all find their groove here.
And we'll get into a special play from Jake Sanderson tonight, one that you just do not see often. But you know what? I bet you Brady Tkachuk would trade at least one of those goals, knowing that the team won, for the fact that he finally, for the first time in 6 games, did not get high sticked in the face tonight.
Yeah, I know he's taking a beating. But yeah, it's good to see that he didn't take one tonight. He replaced those high stickings with a goal or 2. So
the Sens communications department did some deep research on this, and Brady was the first player in NHL history to be on the wrong end of 5 straight games with a high sticking infraction. Just incredible. But he was awesome tonight. The whole team was awesome. Like, we don't have to nitpick anything really. The only thing is, like, at the end of the first period, that power play that the Penguins had, you knew they were going to get one when Ottawa scored on theirs early. And sure, it was enough of a penalty. There's no complaints there. But Linus Ullmark bailed them out, because who knows how this game goes if he doesn't make those incredible saves. And I think one of them, the one where he goes right to left on the one-timer, might have hit the post. Yeah. But there were a couple more in there that were 10-bell saves and really kind of settled it down for the rest of the team, that they weren't going to play ping pong back and forth. Hey, who's got the lead? He locked it down early in this one, and it just carried through.
Yeah, several big saves, Ross. And yeah, like you mentioned, that one that looked like, I think on initially, it looked like it was probably the biggest save of the game. But yeah, I think it did end up kind of hitting that left post there. But I mean, rebound control was awesome from him. He looked a lot more athletic, I thought, tonight, too. He was moving around extremely well, tracking pucks really well. And yeah, the stats show it, right? You get your shutout. We've been calling for him to get a better save percentage, and shutout will do that for a guy, right? 26 saves on the night, and he was perfect. So that's a really, really great sign. We need him to catch that fire that he's bottled up in the past. So if he can keep doing that and keep playing this way, then it's going to be a good thing for Ottawa for sure.
Goal scorers tonight for the Ottawa Senators. It opened with Brady Tkachuk and then followed up by a pair of vets. And I thought it was pretty cool that both David Perron and Claude Giroux scored in this game, because the Penguins when healthy, are one of the oldest teams in the league. Now, they didn't have Evgeny Malkin in the lineup, which obviously ups their average age, but I thought it was kind of apropos that the two uncles, as the kids would say, on the Ottawa Senators got on the scoreboard during the father's trip for the Penguins. There's going to be a lot of long, quiet car rides home from the rink tonight.
Yeah, the long quiet car rides. Yeah, that's funny. Like I think a lot of hockey kids are able to relate to that. But I don't know. Like if it's anything like the Sens dads, the wins and losses don't matter as much. They have fun no matter what. So I hope the Penguins dads trip gets a little better. But
me too. They're going to Montreal next. Go get 2 points there, fellas.
There you go. And that's, Sidney Crosby's favorite team growing up. I believe that's probably his dad's favorite team too. So, they'll be ready for that one. Maybe they just kind of took it easy on Ottawa here, hoping to get that win in Montreal. Maybe took it easy, but you know what I'm saying.
No. Our girl Sudsy, though, she's the best. And I probably mispronounced that, but that's the cutest dog of all time. And says that Penguins fans hate Giroux. And so for him to score, I mean, he hates them too. And just taking it out of Amadio's skates, that was a weird goal for sure. But you know what? So was the fourth for Ottawa. And they earned their chances, though, because they could have scored 5 highlight reel goals that either Timmy hits the post, Sheloves takes a tripping penalty on him in the first period. Like, Ottawa had their chances, but ended up scoring on some of the uglier plays that they made.
I mean, I would say all 3 goals were weird, Ross, because how many times do you see
outside of the power play one? That was crispy, down low.
Yeah.
Dude, that angle they showed at intermission where you can see Brady just pushing off of Letang and opening so much space, dude. He could have built a convenience store there and set up shop for real before putting that in the net. That was awesome.
Yeah, and how many plays do you see that start with a player, a defenseman with a breakout pass that he's using a stick with the wrong-handedness, and he's a left-handed shot. He's got a right-handed stick in his hands,
and a big one at that.
Yeah. It's got to be longer than the stick he usually uses. Obviously, Amadio's a lot bigger of a guy. He hands the stick to Sanderson. He makes that breakout pass with a right-handed stick, and it's perfect, right, all the way up. And that was an odd play. I think that, Perron ends up burying that one. And I don't know if it went off his skate. It looked like it kind of maybe went off his skate just in front there as a little deflection. Or if
the Penguins were looking at it for a while, wondering if they were going to challenge. They ultimately ended up challenging the other end of the ice. We'll get into that after. But yeah, it was a weird one for Perron.
Yeah. And then Giroux's goal, same kind of weirdness there. Like that was just, I was watching that. I'm like, oh my God, it's in your feet, Amadio. And he's kind of like cruising like towards the slot. And Giroux, I think, was probably yelling the same thing. It sounded like he said that in the intermission interview as well, just saying, I was yelling at him that it's in his feet, and then he just got closer to me. He swoops in there, and he buries that thing. He grabs it right out of in between Amadio's feet, and then just goes in. And it's a great play by Giroux, just awareness-wise, knowing Amadio's not going to figure out where that puck is. And if I had to guess, I would have said Amadio would have ended up scoring that goal. But Giroux comes in and grabs that thing and buries it. So, yeah, a lot of weird goals tonight. And, I mean, geez, that fourth goal, Ross, Brady Tkachuk, I was like, whoa, where's Sheloves here? Like, he's heading to the bench for the extra attacker with 6 minutes left and a 3-0.
They didn't even have possession.
They didn't even have possession. The Sens grab it on kind of that wall in the neutral zone real quick. And next thing you know, Brady Tkachuk's walking in. He probably throws his head up and goes, holy crap, I got an empty net here. I'm just going to put this in. Easy.
Awesome. But that's what happens when you're playing well, right? You get those breaks that the Senators got tonight. And it took a while. There was some frustration, no doubt, with how the Sens have been playing well but not getting the results. Tonight, they got exactly what they deserved. And, hey, Pittsburgh fans, you thought that Claude Giroux was done crushing your hopes and dreams? No, he wasn't. Now, Claude Giroux in his career is up to 77 points in 71 games against the Pittsburgh Penguins, almost playing a full season worth of action. And I thought it was great to see Claude get on the board. I know he had that goal and assist against the Columbus Blue Jackets, but he hadn't been scoring as much as I'm sure he would have liked, despite him clearly buying in defensively in how he needs to play on that line with Amadio to be successful. This is only his second goal in the last 15 games. So hopefully that gets him some confidence and allows him offensively to thrive. I don't need him to. He's playing well defensively, but any offense that's added on top of that is just great to see from him.
Yeah, for sure. And just 14 points on the year. But yeah, it's, like you said, Ross, I think that he really takes a lot of pride in the defensive side of the game. So I don't think he's too worried about it. He just wants to win hockey games. I don't know if you remember when he first came to Ottawa in free agency, he was interviewed by, I think, Sportsnet. It might have been Kyle Bukauskas. And they asked him, which line is going to be better? Your line with Brady Tkachuk and Tim Stützle, or Austin Matthews, William Nylander, and Mitch Marner? And he said, better in what way? Do you mean plus minus? Because maybe we'll beat them in plus minus. And I thought that was a funny answer from him. That year didn't go so well for Ottawa. They got smoked in that department too. But yeah, I think that Drew, when it comes to the defensive side of the game, where he's at his career, he's perfectly happy, I think. Just playing a sound game, helping the team get wins in more ways than just providing offense.
Yeah, and you think that playing against Sidney Crosby fires up Nova Scotian Drake Batherson. Batherson's now got 9 goals, 8 assists for 17 points in 14 career games against the Penguins. So credit to him. I'm just happy that we're not on the wrong end of those highlight reels of Crosby passing Lemieux for the most points in Penguins history. Look, Sid, I'm going to be rooting for you hard in February at the Olympics. I promise, buddy. But yeah, I do not like when he wears that logo in this building. I want him to leave miserable every time. And speaking of the Penguins, it's another game for Erik Karlsson against the Ottawa Senators where he does not score a goal. Only Seattle and Ottawa, the 2 teams he hasn't scored a goal against. So all the best, EK. We'll see you back here one day.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's been almost 10 years since Erik Karlsson's worn an Ottawa Senators jersey, but I bet you it still feels weird for him coming into that building with all the memories he has in there. So many great moments. And yeah, so maybe he just feels a little bit odd out there in the opposing locker room and being on the different side of the ice and just being in front of those fans. I think that Ottawa's fans have a very distinct sound to them, like reaction wise to certain things, the goal horn, all those things. I think maybe
Karl heard that tonight.
Yeah, we heard it enough times to be very happy with ourselves here. 5-0 to me sounds like a really sexy win, but 4-0 works for me too.
Nice.
Yeah, five would have been like for me, a 5-0 win is probably the top echelon score you can have. But
yeah,
either way, 4-0 will do the job. And yeah, I just think Karlsson, I mean, he's obviously not the same player he was when he played here, but at the same time, he's still great. Only a few years removed from being a Norris Trophy winner in San Jose. But
dude, he has 7 points in his last 5 games coming into tonight.
Yeah, we iced him. It's nice. Yeah. Cool off, Erik.
We think Jake Sanderson is elite, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. Yeah, you tweeted out today top 3 defensemen in the league. I don't know if I can go that far yet. I can settle for top 5 though.
But where I was leading into is Jake Sanderson has 2 more points than Erik Karlsson this year.
Yeah, I mean, that just goes to show.
Obviously, much better defensively than Erik Karlsson. I think that doesn't even need to be said with such a knowledgeable fan base here in Ottawa. And Karl's got 22 assists, only 3 goals versus 7 goals for Jake Sanderson. But I'm just making the remark that Erik Karlsson is still an elite offensive defenseman in this league, but not tonight. Kind of cool, though. They pointed this out on the broadcast. I know our guy Julio had it on Twitter earlier today. The last 4 captains of the Ottawa Senators, dating all the way back to the 90s, were in the building tonight. Daniel Alfredsson as the assistant coach for the Ottawa Senators, Jason Spezza, assistant general manager for the Pittsburgh Penguins, Erik Karlsson, of course, and Brady Tkachuk. Very cool.
That is a cool stat. Yeah, I missed that.
Somebody call Yashin. I think he's hanging out in Dubai. Somebody get him in.
Who knows with that guy?
Where's Randy Cunnyworth?
Yeah, Randy.
Lori Boschman, you there, bud?
Yeah.
Come on down. He used to coach the Goulburn Rams against me. I hated playing against his kid.
Oh, yeah.
I hated it.
Probably just an animal.
Yeah, just like his old man. But you got to give respect where it's due. On the other side, speaking of respect, should Erik Karlsson's number be retired by the Ottawa Senators? I'll ask Marshy that on the other side. Plus, we got SensCentral standouts and stats from tonight's game. Senators win 4-0 over the Pittsburgh Penguins. The chat is buzzing. Over 300 citizens getting into the mix. Ottawa's first home win in their last 5 games, snapping a losing streak that extended to 4. And get this, the Ottawa Senators with 4 goals tonight. That's more than they had scored in any of those previous games. So we got to hear song 2. We got to hear Lyndon Sluage belt out the anthem. The guy had a 103 fastball right on the corner. Steer Reich Plenty more to get into. You're listening to Locked On Senators. It's your team every day. And the postcast is always brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. Check out the GCP where the vibes are free at 779 Bank Street. The wheels on the bus, they're going round and round right now, all the way back because the Send Shuttle runs to and from the pub. Shout out to our guy, Rob. I saw him post on Twitter that he was bringing 6 homies to the game on the GCP shuttle. The vibe's absolutely immaculate. The bus leaves an hour and 15 minutes before the game, and it'll bring you right back afterwards. And it's so easy to use. Don't fret like, oh, where's the bus going to be? I got to go here, there, and everywhere. No, you'll see exactly where you need to be. You go down that nice little covered pavilion that takes you right up to gate 1, and you'll be right at the bus. And my favorite part, Marshy, how fun is it waving at the cars while you're driving by in the bus lane?
Oh, it's unbelievable. Yeah, there's nothing better. I can only imagine what those 6 dudes are doing right now on that bus. Probably just enjoying the hell out of themselves. Like, go Sens, go chance, just chatting about the game, breaking it down. I don't know if Sue's bringing the roadies with her, but
Sue, we were told by Rob that Sue was supposed to wear a weighted shoe tonight, weighted shoe to make sure that the boys got back to the pub and ready to rock and roll.
Doesn't she always wear that? Yeah,
she is 1-1 draft pick of bus drivers that you want when you're going to the Sens game. So get on the Glebe Central Pub shuttle. Tickets available at GlebeCentralPub.com, and head to the pub on a Saturday night. Live music, no cover ever, or on open mic night every Wednesday. 779 Bank Street, and let them know that Locked On Senators sent you. The postcast is also brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel, it is the #1 sports book here on the Locked On Podcast Network. One big play, and everything feels different on an NFL Sunday. That would make live betting at FanDuel so exciting. You're not just watching the game, you're reacting to it in real time. With FanDuel, you can place bets as the action unfolds, every drive, every momentum swing, every highlight moment, and live bets. Fire me up, man. Whenever you get a momentum swing in the game, that's when I head to FanDuel. So if you want to be right in the middle of the action all season long, NHL, NFL, NBA, I'm so excited for the Olympics. You can make your live bets all season long over at FanDuel. The game moves fast, and so can you. Welcome back to the postcast. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Lalim's Martian. You can check out our socials in the description below. That's where you can also find the link to our Everydayers Club. We appreciate everybody who is in the mix for that. Tonight's score was 4-0 for the Ottawa Senators, but it was a far more dominant performance than I even think that gives credit for. Because Marshy, the boys had so many chances. That one penalty kill in the second period, Cousins has a 2-on-1 chance, and then Stützle with a breakaway. So close, so far from this being a complete blowout win.
Yeah, I thought Timmy had him there on that one. That was that breakaway. He made a great move, and he ends up hitting the post. And I thought for sure that there was going to be a good chance that he was going to score on that one after seeing that move get made. I think he had a lot of net to shoot at. I'm surprised he didn't end up burying it, but the Germans still had a really good game. And like you said, I think that penalty kill was kind of a really nice tone setter too. Didn't really give up a whole lot, and they ended up with 2 good chances. I think both penalty kills really that they had in this game, they did quite well. So 0-for-2 for the Penguins in this one. And that's what you want. The special teams need to be special to be a special team. So
they were so special. Tim Stützle, by the way, did extend his point streak to 5 games with this one. He had 9 points in his last 4 games. So make it 10 in his last 5. The Germans
back over a point per game for the year.
I'm not saying that we have anything to do with this. Everyone knows we're 17-2-1 when Pillsy and I go to games. I just want to point out the 2 guys who came out of their way to come say what up with us. Actually 3, because Stephen Halliday is just such a beauty. But we're Tim Stützle and Brady Tkachuk. Who's been the 2 best players on the Ottawa Senators the last 2 games?
Yeah, I mean, all they had to do was shake the hands of the Locked On Senators podcast. And
daps. And nobody gives a better dap than Tim Stützle. And I always laugh with people around the league, Marshy, because they see Timmy on the ice as this fierce competitor, very focused, very efficient, and that he is the most chill, laid back guy I've ever chatted with.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't really have too much to worry about other than when he is on the ice, right? He's got a great contract. He's a handsome devil, single guy in a great city for that, and
He got
he's
some
able.
laughs. He got some laughs out of Pillsy. First thing he says, he goes, "Ross, how do you live here, bro?" It was minus 25.
Yeah.
I was like, I hate to tell you, Tim, it's pretty cold in Ottawa too.
Yeah, it's a different kind of cold though.
Yeah, but that was awesome. Anyways, enough about us. Let's get back to the boys.
Hey, I love it. Tonight. You know, he's saying all he's saying is Ottawa's a great city.
He loves it.
Yeah,
he loves it. Can't confirm.
Thank goodness, right? Like, I mean, this is a guy who we want to be a career senator.
But you know what the best problem is the Sens have right now, especially for their fans? There's no like one guy. Like if you're a Sharks fan, you're getting a Macklin Celebrini jersey. If you're an Islanders fan, you're getting a Matthew Schaefer jersey. The Senators have 3 of those dudes. The lottery boys. The lottery boys are so sick, dude. Timmy, Jake, and Brady, all franchise level talents, in my opinion.
Totally franchise level talents. But if you even want to just reach to that next tier of guys too, that whole core of the team, like the jersey, variants that we have in the building is strong because there's a ton of fan favorites that aren't those 3 guys too. Guys like Drake Batherson, Thomas Chabot, Shane Pinto.
How about Ridley Gregg giving it to Erik Karlsson first shift of the game? They were just battling. He gave him a couple extra shots. I was like, yeah, he loves it.
And what about the pop that he ate from who the big guy there? What's his name? I'm blanking on the big fella.
For who?
He used to play for Washington for the Penguins. He really Greg took the guy ended up getting a penalty on it. Wow, I'm blanking on this name. That's crazy.
Oh, it's all good. I got it here. If he got a penalty for it, I can find. No, he didn't get a penalty. Oh, Justin Brazeau?
No, the big tall guy. Anyways,
Mantha. Oh, Anthony Mantha.
Yeah, there it is. Thanks, chat. The chat helped me out with that one. Thanks, boys.
Yeah. Chat's undefeated.
Yeah, the chat's amazing. Yeah.
Well, if the chat doesn't lie, Steven's getting a McDirty jersey. Curtis McDermott. Sens are 9-2-2 with Curtis McDermott. Have you looked? Do you know how much he played tonight? Because we got to play Guess That Ice Time.
I'm going to guess that he played under 3 minutes tonight.
You could even say under less than that.
Under 2 minutes?
Yeah, he played 147 tonight.
Oh, yeah, I didn't see him out there. And usually you notice
he's the best, though. I love him so
dude, my dad was just in town. And I go, Dad, just like keep an eye out for number 23 when he gets out there, right? Because he he doesn't watch. He's a Bruins fan, doesn't watch a lot of Sens games. And as soon as he stepped on the ice, he goes, "Oh my God, Cam, this guy can't skate." And that was in the Minnesota game where he took a
136
oh,
tonight.
Man, that McDermott, man, he's a hell of a skater out there. He's easy to spot. So yeah, I'm not surprised that he didn't play that much. But hey, the streak goes on.
Dude, I was sitting right in front of where you ripped that thing off the post. And look, even in morning skate, because I was like, obviously I kept a close eye on Dermy in the morning skate. Yeah. And he's 240 pounds, a big boy. He can rip the pill.
Oh yeah. You ever see him in warm up? I mean, you got to watch him in warm up. It's all the time. He barely touches.
Dude, we were sitting right at the glass. Oh, by the way, you're gonna hate this. Timmy has to wear his helmet for warm up now.
I know. Obviously the league's catching on to that. That's I noticed that right away. The first game where he was wearing the helmet in the warm up, I was on. I was at the CTC and noticed.
Hasn't affected him though.
I hate it.
Hasn't affected the points though.
Yeah, he still doesn't do up the strap. He tries to swag it out as much as he can, but
I wouldn't be surprised if he takes his visor off for warm up.
I know, honestly, yeah. He can't do that either. So that's
or cut out the top, just go full skullet helmet, and let the flow breathe. Let the flow.
I like though that he's not, really rocking that pretty boy haircut anymore. He's got that low trim, that buzz cut, kind of in a way it's kind of stuck around for him. So yeah, I'm sure we'll see him grow it out a little bit here and there eventually again. But
we'll get more.
He's all business, Ross. It's a business cut.
It's a business cut, dude. They're 9-2-2 when he's in the lineup. At some point, it's not just coincidence. It's actually got an effect. And look, the way that they can spin it, that it does have a positive effect, other than the fact, like, clearly the boys love him. When he made that assist to Nick Cousins, Tim Stützle didn't go to the goal scorer. He was waiting for McDermott. And after the game, Timmy didn't put the win graphic in his Instagram story. He put the Curtis McDermott 300 games in his story. Like, the boys love him. And I know we laugh about it, but like, we talked to Jody Shelling. People can go watch that interview, and he was an enforcer himself. And it's like, he's almost like a bouncer in a sense. And Jody kind of pushed back when I used that reference to just enforcers in general. But internally in the locker room, they're guys who kind of hold everybody accountable where the captain doesn't have to do it. And I get the thought process in that, where it's like when when one disgruntled employee's opinion becomes too mainstream, who's going to call them out in front of the team? It's the enforcer. Now, what I asked Jody, and I think this was a fair response too by him. You can go check it out. I won't dive too into it, but I think there's also a bit of a learning curve because McDermott missed camp with Ottawa. He got traded at the end of camp, where you don't have that first day of school. Everybody's, coming in together. So he's kind of playing catch up in terms of knowing his spot in the room. I think he might be catching on because, hey, 9-2-2, that's the record, buddy.
Yeah, that's totally fair. And I think there's something to be said about everybody else out there just being able to play a little bit bigger, knowing that if somebody takes a liberty on them, that they're going to have to answer some sort of bell. And it's going to be big number 23 lumbering out over to you and saying, hey, you don't do that, buddy. And if you do, you're going to get, your head smashed in by these cinder block fists I've got hanging off the end of my arms.
The Sens' best team ever had an enforcer in Brian McGrattan.
Yeah, I mean, they had a couple, right? Chris Neal, too.
Yeah,
so,
but Neal was scoring 50 goals back.
He can play. He can play.
Hey, you know who else can play? Our SensCentral standouts for tonight's game, which are coming up next. We'll also dive in a little bit deeper to the numbers in this game. In particular, the Ottawa Senators had, this was just a good game all around. One line in particular, though, really stood out to me as one that deserves some recognition tonight. We'll discuss that next. You're listening to Locked On Senators, the postcast, your team every day. Tonight's postcast is brought to you by our great friends over at Monarch. Monarch is the #1 budgeting app. Just check out Wall Street Journal's best budgeting apps of 2025. It's Monarch. The holidays are amazing, but they can also get overwhelming fast from travel, gifts, parties, year-end expenses. It's really easy to lose track of your money this time of year, and I feel that. Look, I just got Monarch in May, and I'm already starting to get such a great sense of what I can and cannot spend, and I'm so excited to get to that 1 year mark, because then I'll be able to go year over year, what I spent last year at this month versus the next one. It's so helpful, and it's so great, and I highly recommend going to check out Monarch. The holiday spending category can become a lifesaver. In minutes, you can check your net worth, you can link all your accounts, even your investments, and you can keep track of contributions before deadlines. And it's great for couples too. My wife and I, we use this. Shared dashboards, shared goals, and wait, how much did we spend? You have fewer of those conversations, except when I get 45 boxes consecutively at the house. Then we have to say, hey, am I breaking all these down too? Yes, ma'am. All right, go to Monarch and check them out because you're a listener of the Locked On Senators podcast. You're going to get 50% off your first year. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarch.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for 50% off your first year. All right, Marshy, the Sens win 4-0 is the final score. This was a game that start to finish was all Ottawa. The Senators opened the scoring early in this one. First power play of the game, 2 minutes and 16 seconds in. Great play from Tim Stützle. I mean, it starts at the point with Jake Sanderson. Shocker. Goes to the wall, plays some pitch and catch with Tim Stützle. Down low, net front play. Brady Tkachuk makes no mistake, and it was 1-0 Ottawa. Then in the second period, it was David Perral, 1 minute and 34 seconds in, that makes this a 2-goal game. It's the one where it's started by Jake Sanderson with the wrong-handed stick. Jordan Spence gets it in the corner offensively, banks it in off of David Perron. Drake Batherson with the secondary assist there. Then Claude Giroux pulls the puck out of Michael Amadio's feet and buries it past Arthur Shelov's. That's 4:30 into the second period. So Ottawa with 2 goals in 3.5 minutes, and then they held it until late in the third period. And I say late because the goalie was pulled, but was it really? There was still over 6 minutes left when Brady Tkachuk scores. Nick Jensen, Nicholas Matinpalo get the assist. Basically, St. Nick came coming down the chimney and putting the empty netter home. Ottawa with 26 shots to Pittsburgh's 24. Ottawa goes 1 for 2 on the power play, and Pittsburgh goes 0 for 2. Senators win over 55% of the faceoffs. Pittsburgh with 21 hits to Ottawa's 18. The Penguins also outblocked the Senators 14-11, but at 5-on-5, the expected goals were slightly in the Penguins' favor. They had 53.6%. We'll get to our SensCentral standouts soon, but I teased this question earlier. Marshy, on a day where Jacques Martin has been inducted or announced to be inducted on January 24th into the Senators' Ring of Honor, is Erik Karlsson a Ring of Honor or a jersey retirement guy for you?
It's a tough question in a way, Ross. I think he is a jersey retirement guy for Ottawa. I think with that being said, Ottawa's kind of set the bar. I hate to say this. They've set the bar a little bit lower than a lot of other franchises when it comes to what jerseys are going up in the rafters. I think enough time has passed. I bet you if you asked me 5 years ago, and I probably have tweets with an opinion on this that differ from what I'm saying right now. If you would have asked me 5 years ago, I probably would have said that the answer is Ring of Honor.
6 years ago. That's how long ago it's been since Philly got his jersey retired.
Yeah, that was probably when the topic would have came up. So I would say right now, I think enough time has passed. I think you look at his body of work as a career and just being who he is. Multiple Norris trophies, could have been more if it wasn't for Drew Doughty absolutely sniping that one from underneath him.
Such a joke, dude.
Yeah, and we don't have a lot of big individual trophy winners in Sens history like that. So I'm going to go ahead and say yes, because I don't think people in the chat would really like it if I said no either. And that's just the way I feel as well.
I'm going to ask, and obviously it makes sense because Erik Karlsson was playing tonight, and the conversation comes up because Jacques Martin is right there. I mean, you're putting his number in the rafters. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. And maybe I'm a little bit biased because the fact that, actually, I'm not biased. Everybody here is an Ottawa Senators fan. I'm just trying to do 10 things at once, and we got the poll up now officially, and there's probably 25 spelling mistakes, so I apologize for that, but I am curious because they're either going to put him in the Ring of Honor or they're going to retire his jersey, right? Like, there's no world where they do neither, right?
Oh, no, absolutely. One or the other, for sure. Yeah, it'll just be interesting to see which way they decide to go. And when you think about the type of player he was kind of a little bit of a groundbreaker, right? When you look at the really top defensemen in the league now, the guys who are winning those Norris trophies the way they do these days, they play like Erik Karlsson did. And he was kind of one of a kind at that time in the league, where he was that smooth skating, super quick twitch, getting pucks down low from the top, skating like the wind. And he was at the top of his class when it comes to that kind of defenseman for a very long time, and most of it with Ottawa. So absolutely, yeah. I think there's a bunch of different ways you could look at it, but I would go with the jersey retirement. I don't think anyone should be upset about that. I'm sure, you could look online and you could find a bunch of losers in Montreal who would be like, wow, I can't believe retiring a guy who did this and that and only had this many points and this whatever, didn't win a cup and didn't win anything. But who cares? Who cares what they think? We know what we want. We're the ones who call the shots here as fans of this team. So I'm fine with that. I would be cool if they go. I mean, Ring of Honor is a guarantee, and if they go jersey retirement, I'm going to be at that ceremony and I'll be there to celebrate it.
I'm making sure that I will be at every jersey retirement in Senators history and every outdoor game. Those are the two guarantees that I've made sure that will happen for me this lifetime. Funny enough, at one point, and Doc points this out, that 65% of the votes that we just put up on YouTube are saying retire his number, which is nice. And I like what Ali says too, where he says, nobody's going to wear number 65 anyway, so just retire.
Yeah, but that's true. It's not like number 8.
I honestly, and look, all the respect in the world to Chris Phillips and Chris Neal, legends. But wouldn't it just be special if it was just Alfie and Carl up there until they win a cup?
Yeah, there's something to be said about that.
Multiple Norris trophies, multiple major awards. The Senators have only had, 2 other major awards? Jacques Martin for the Jack Martin. I just said that's basically
Jacques Martin.
It's what's the name of the trophy? Is it Jack something? Jack Adams. Nice. The Jack Martin, I called it.
It's the Jack Adams. And you know what? Paul McLean.
Oh, that's awesome.
Paul McLean won the Jack Adams as well as the head coach.
True. Yeah. Later on. Yeah, you're right. And the only other one was Calder for Daniel Alfredson. So Erik Karlsson. And you could argue that those two are peripheral awards, especially the Calder, because only a certain number of guys. But like the Norris is the best defenseman in the league. Like it's MVP, it's the Norris, it's the Vezina. Like that's
you're competing with the entire league for an award like that, and that's where I think for sure.
There was a year where he was 5th in the league in scoring.
Yeah, I mean he was ridiculous, Ross. Like the points that he was putting up were crazy,
so
and the way he was doing it was even crazier. Like nothing was easy, right? He was skating around out there like the Energizer Bunny. And imagine, like, just think about him. Like, if he didn't have that Achilles injury and then that heel injury from the playoffs too, both of those things affected his skating, and that was his top attribute. Like before that Achilles injury, he just remember how fast he was.
The 2012 season. Go watch Erik Karlsson's 2012 highlights.
Yeah,
some of the sickest, like 2011, 2012, because the year they played the Rangers in the first round, he had 78 points that year. He was so nasty.
Just turning the Karlsson postcast here.
Exactly. I was going to say, final question on this. Will he play for the Senators again? My vote is yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. As soon I think probably as soon as this contract's over, I'd probably as soon as this contract's over. The thing is, I think he'll still be serviceable as hell at that time, right? Like
6th defenseman, power play too.
Yeah, I think you sign him you give him kind of a Giroux treatment, right? 1-year deal. And if he still wants to play and still can play, and imagine him on the bench with Elfie coaching too, the dynamic there, the content that would come out of that's gonna be
my heart.
I think he'll come back too. And
there's always a piece of Erik Karlsson in the studio, a signed plate from back when I was working at Navara on Murray Street in the market. Came in during NHL All-Star Weekend, and I was open kitchen, so I saw him. He came and thanked us, said it was a great meal, and I was like, dude, can you sign a plate for me? So it was kind of cool that it was the two things together. That was during the 2012 All-Star game. So 13 years ago. Wow. Almost another lifetime. I agree. I think Erik Karlsson comes back. And if Erik Karlsson comes back to the Ottawa Senators, they will absolutely 100% of the votes will say retires number. Right now, though, it's closer than I thought it would be. We've got 85 votes in on YouTube Live right now. 62% say retire his number, and 38% say go in to the Ring of Honor. All right, let's get to our SensCentral standouts from tonight's game, where Ottawa said, thanks for coming, Erik. Now go to Montreal and go get a win. Ottawa beats the Penguins 4-0. And oh boy, the overperforming Penguins all of a sudden have lost 7 games in a row. Yikes. Who's your number one standout from tonight's game?
Yeah, we're going to go from one conversation about a former captain to a conversation about the current captain. I'm going to go with the easy one here, Ross. The two-goal man, Brady Tkachuk, for me, had an incredible game. I think, like I said earlier, he's kind of coming back into form. I'm going to keep this brief, but I just think he looks amazing out there. 5 shots on goal. He was like the skating, Ross, is all of a sudden looking like he's caught right up to the speed of the game again. And he's still bringing that physicality as well. Only the one hit tonight, but you can tell the physical presence when he's in a puck battle, all those different things. He brings it. And that line tonight just generally was really buzzing tonight. I think from start to finish in this game, I think you look at Travis Green, he was looking to get them out there as much as possible. A lot of opportunities for them out there. Brady Tkachuk only played 17:02 on ice tonight, but that's probably right around what he usually does. I think at the most he usually plays right around 20 minutes. So a strong game from Brady. Got the power play goal, got the other empty net goal, which was such a weird one. And Captain SHIT, as I like to say.
Yeah, the Brady Tkachuk storyline tonight is so cool because of the way he finished the Winnipeg game and just had a great performance all around. I felt like boots on the ground. So for him to double down and play the way he did, I thought that was great. And to your note, that's a line I wanted to touch on quickly here. The line of Stützle, Tkachuk, and Zetterlund tonight had an 84% expected goals percentage, a 68% Corsi percentage, which is shot attempts there, and their on-ice expected goal differential was almost half a goal better, more than half a goal better than what it was. So just overall, in just over 10 minutes of ice time, actually 40 seconds less than the Greg Giroux-Amadio line, I thought Tkachuk, Stützle, and Zetterlund all had their looks tonight, let's say. So stick taps to all those guys. But you know who else carried momentum from a fantastic game in Winnipeg to tonight was Linus Ullmark's got to be the next SensCentral standout tonight. Just fantastic in the first period, going right to left. And one thing that I'm really starting to get notice of, or what I'm finding to notice about Linus Ullmark when he's on, is that not only is he a half step out further, like most goalies are, you get confident, you challenge more, but his lateral movement becomes so much better, smoother. He's so much more compact. Like sometimes he plays the statue man. He kind of freezes in solid gold and just says, hey, if it's going to hit me, it's going to hit me. But tonight it felt like he was feeling the puck. There was even a rush chance. I forget who it was in the first period where I just felt like in previous games that would squeak out for a rebound and he just squeezed it in his right arm. And it was just, it's the calming plays like that just help your whole team just feel better about themselves. And I don't think this is a blowout 4-0. I know we'll put the quota for a blowout at 5, but it felt like a blowout in the second and third period, the way they scored early in both the first 2 periods. But without Linus calming things down, I don't think we get there. So easy SensCentral standout for me is Linus Ullmark tonight. You got any honorable mentions, Marshy?
I would probably say Drake Batherson again with the 2 assist night. He's just been trucking along really nicely all season, and he just did it again tonight. Maybe just Drake Batherson. Timmy,
I got two honorable mentions that Pilsy wrote in. He said you got to give these honorable mentions. Tim Stützle for playing his 400th game.
Yep.
And David Perron for his 800th point. I know
Pilsy
loves these milestones.
It's too bad he's not here to celebrate that milestone with us. But yeah, that's a huge milestone. I don't know what he was talking about in that conversation.
He's ridiculous, man.
Like,
I was like, how many NHL points do you have?
A buzzkill, Pilsy, but
dude, 50's cool. And I told him, I said, hey, Stephen Halliday's playing his 10th NHL game tonight. That's cool. He goes, yeah.
Yeah,
10 more than us. Come on.
Stephen Halliday almost scored tonight, Ross. It was so close.
I might have put a substantial amount of money on him to score tonight.
Yeah,
and,
$10. I thought it was 8.
It was 8.3. I like doing jersey numbers for goals.
He came close. That would have been too easy of a one for the disher. We want him to earn it. I think his first one's going to be a beauty. So it's too bad.
Also, it'd be kind of cool if he has like 50 assists before he scores a goal.
Yeah, and also though too, Ross, Sidney Crosby was on the ice when he had that chance.
I know.
So he would have been able to have that forever, where he could say, his first NHL goal was against Sidney Crosby too. It would have been juicy to say that, but
it would have.
That's the way she goes. You can't win them all.
Hey, you know what though? You can win this one. 4-0, the final score. Marshy, any final thoughts on tonight's postcast? This has been a lot of fun. Shout out to the chat. Oh man, we're having a totally fun time tonight. And look, we're a little more coherent than maybe we were the other night after the Winnipeg game. But
I saw you guys. Oh my god, you guys were
just having fun.
Yeah, I mean that's what it's all about. That's the whole nature of the postcast.
Hey, we did the show. We did great. It's our most viewed episode in the last 2 weeks, so maybe we should do it more.
I mean, I think
Dave Pullen said credit to us for winning the game. So
yeah, and we're maturing a lot, Ross. I think early days of the postcast, we were having a few drinks during the game and during the postcast, and I think now
we're professional podcasters.
We settled down a little bit for sure in that regard. Yeah, I mean, I know I had a beer roll in here, but like that's only the second one I've had tonight, so we're just chilling.
Dude, I just ended the poll for Erik Karlsson at 65% jersey retirement. That just feels so perfect. That feels so perfect. That's perfect. My final thoughts is thank you for everyone who voted. That's perfect.
Yeah, my final thoughts for this one is I think that this is the last 2 games have been a real building block, I think, for them to be able to go on a bit of a heat streak here. And very winnable games coming up. And I think that, they got to look at this and build off of it and hopefully go on a big winning streak. I think the next 4 games are winnable. So 6 in a row sounds pretty good.
A lot of people in the chat were very excited that Pilsy and I were in the mix, let's say, on Monday. How many tequila sodas do you think I had that night? We'll end the show on this.
I would say you probably had just under double digits.
Let's say they're cheaper by the dozen. All right, that wraps up tonight's postcast. 4-0. The Senators get the victory over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Revenge for 2017? No, not quite. Revenge for 2013? Not quite. Revenge for 2010? No. But it was a very important win for the Ottawa Senators. Tomorrow on Locked On Senators, we will discuss how the Atlantic Division is continuing to shake out because, look, we've had a lot of very bad nights on the out-of-town scoreboard. Not tonight. Boston, lose. Lightning, lose. Wild, they beat the Blue Jackets. We like that, and I'm building up for a reason. Yeah, the Toronto Maple Leafs got shut out 4-0. Imagine losing 4-0. Wow. The team that won must feel really, really good after that one. But yeah, Washington beats up on the Maple Leafs. 4-0. So the Ottawa Senators finally get a good night on the out-of-town scoreboard. Sure, the Habs win. Sure, the Sabres win. Sure, the Rangers win in overtime against the St. Louis Blues. But Ottawa's got to feel good. 4 out of a last possible 4 points and 6 out of a last possible 8 points. So, hey, find a way to get up the standings by Christmas and even more so by the Olympics, and we will be buzzing down the stretch. Let's get into some super chats on the way out. This was certainly a Vibecast, Jackson. Thanks for writing in. P. Babs writes in, that was a full team effort. Completely agree. All the boys had each other's backs tonight, and it was evident on the score sheet. Vern says, 3-period game for the Sens. What a game. Go Sens, go. That's 2 in a row. You're darn right it is, Vern. And our great friends, Sens fans in Van, the biggest story tonight is Linus and Giroux loving his goal. Let's love some more goals. The next game is Saturday afternoon. Note the start time on that. It's going to be a fun one at 3 p.m. Eastern. Marsha, your boots on the ground for that, aren't you?
Yes, sir. I specifically went out of my way to get tickets for this game so I could
see Connor Bedard.
To see Connor Bedard, and 3 days later, unfortunately, he separated his shoulder. He's going to be out for a few weeks here, probably maybe a month or two. I'm guessing. I mean, I don't know.
He had 1-1 in the first game I saw him in Winnipeg.
Yeah, and I've seen him light up the Sens in the past, but I feel like this year's different with it being Olympic year and the heater that he's been on. So it's too bad he's not going to be there. But hey, that just means the Sens are going to have a better chance of winning, Ross. So I'm fine. I'm fine with that.
Hey, Doc says no afternoon nap for Pillsy before that one. He'll be fired up though. He'll be ready to rock and roll. It's gonna be great.
Are you around for that one for the postcast too? Because I'll make it
likely.
I'll try to.
I got a 7 a.m. flight on Sunday, so we'll see how much packing I can.
You're gonna be in Florida, yeah? Okay, right on.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah, going to see the parents for Christmas break and get Lily out of this minus 35 and 70 km/h wind that we had earlier today in Winnipeg. Sens fan and Van said 5 stars for Martian's hair. I asked if he got a little salad chop there. Apparently, you cut it yourself.
You want a nugget here? I cut the sides of my hair myself. So
wow,
I've got a little bit of a little bit of a touch, a little finesse with the old trimmers. So yeah,
that's
a certain awkward length. I like to do the sides, but I appreciate that. I'm usually
even saying send me your barber's digits. You can make some money on the side here.
Here we go. Yeah, it's the same trimmers I use to trim my beard too. So there you go. Yeah, we got
my barber actually. Funny enough, called in Blizzard today. He goes, "I'm not making it into the office today."
I know, that's too bad. You want that pre-vacation haircut, Ross?
I know. I said, "How about tomorrow?" He goes, "Booked." I was like, "Saturday, booked." Well, you're kind of putting me in a tough spot. You want to come over to the house?
You're gonna have to go to First Choice. You're gonna have to go to First Choice haircutter. So just get a quick, or maybe just pull the Stutzla. Just shave it yourself.
Dude, get J-Top Lens. Fly up to Winnipeg. Come give me a snip. Let's go.
Do what I do, Ross. Just take the trimmers to the sides there, buddy. You get a little party in the back. You just clean up.
I don't have one around. I was gonna do what I do when it gets a little out of control. We go hat, baby. Hat away you go.
There you go.
All good from there. Hey, thanks so much for everyone joining us in the postcast tonight. We'll be back tomorrow for another Locked On Senators, and then we've got one of our classics, the back-to-back on the weekends. The Senators are awesome at historically. We got the Saturday, Sunday games this weekend. We'll have the postcast for both. Heck it up. Let's go. We're going to have some fun this weekend, and tomorrow we'll preview it all on Locked On Senators. We got Pilsy's take on tonight's game, and most notably, David Perron's 800th point and Tim Stutzla's 400th game. All right, for Williams
Martian.
Dude, I just all of a sudden I've been struggling.
Tiredness hit you
tonight. Yeah, but we're good. We're good. Yeah. I called you Pilsy earlier in the show, so I just didn't want to do that again.
That's muscle memory.
Took a deep breath. For Martian, I'm Ross. I got that right. I'm Ross,
Yep.
Levitan. And you've been listening and watching the Postcast presented by the Locked On Senators podcast, your team every day.